we just finished row 20. Your little monster should look like this. Front, back. And now we're going to start to decrease to make the round top of the head. So let's do that. All right, so we just finished 20, and you should have slip stitched and chain 1 just like normal into that first stitch from the previous row. So to start out row 21, you're going to do 1 single crochet right here into the join, mark it, and then you're going to decrease a single crochet decrease. If you've never done it, super easy. You're just going to combine these two into 1 stitch. So you're going to pull up a loop like you're doing a single decrease, but then you're going to go, instead of pulling through, you're going to go into the next stitch and pull up a loop like you're doing a stitch, and then you're going to pull through all 3. Now you have 1 stitch that combines 2. Now go ahead and do 9 in the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully the light's a little bit better too, because I opened the window shade. Wait, I better keep count. 8. So we have some natural light now. Yay, yay. Okay, that should be 9. And then you're gonna do, what is it? Single crochet, decrease 2 times. Okay, so another single crochet. So it's kind of like you did 10 in a row, but now you're gonna do a decrease in the next 2. So pull up, pull through, and you're gonna do that twice. So another single crochet and then decrease. Okay, now you're gonna do another 9 in a row. 1, 2, and I think when you're decreasing 3, it's important to keep your stitches pretty tight. 5, 6, 7, because this is the part where if you're doing your stitches kind of loosely, it's really easy to see some gaps in the yarn. So try to keep your stitches nice and tight. And now you're gonna do another set of the single crochet and a decrease. So there's 1, and then you should have 2 stitches left. You'll decrease there. 1, 2, 3 loops together. Same thing, you're gonna slip stitch into here. Whoa. And chain 1. And that's the end of row 21. Oh, I locked it. So here we are at row 22. Similar stuff. You're gonna single crochet into that join stitch. Mark it. And we're gonna continue to decrease. So go ahead and do a decrease in the next 2 stitches. Pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull through 3. And now you're gonna do 4 regular single crochet right in a row. 2, 3, 4. And now you're gonna do that set of single decrease. You're gonna do it 3 times in a row, okay? So here's set 1 with the single decrease, set 2, single decrease, and set 3, single, and a decrease. And now you're coming right up to the top of the front of the mouth, right? And you're going to do 4 regular in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you're going to do the set of single and decrease 2 times. So here's a single, decrease, single, and hopefully you have 2 stitches left. There they are, last 2 stitches for the last decrease of this row. Pull through 3, and that was row 22. And you know it, slip stitch into the first. Ooh, this yarn is slippery. Slip stitch, chain 1. All right, on to 23. So you'll feel it, it's getting narrower now. In row 23, we're going to start right away with a decrease. And same thing, you're going to do it right into the join stitch. Pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull through 3, and then you're going to mark that as your first stitch. Even if it's a decrease, it still just counts as the first stitch. Then go ahead, do 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you're going to do 3 decreases right in a row. So 1 decrease, 2 decrease, 3 decrease, then do 4 singles in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to do 2 decreases in a row. So here's first decrease, the second decrease, and when you get to the end here, so here's our last stitch, you should have 14 stitches. Let's go ahead and count to make sure that we're on track here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. That was 23. We're almost to the top of our guy's head. Well, this could be a girl monster. I don't know. Okay. 24. Now we're just going to do 7 decreases right in a row, and that is the last round of the body. So go ahead and slip stitch to the first, like normal, chain 1, and then just start your decreases. You don't really have to mark this first stitch now because this is going to be the end of the body. So decrease right into that join. Ooh, it's a little tricky. Okay. 1, 2, you're going to do 7 in a row. So there's your first one. 1, 2, 2. So it's getting a little crowded here, so it's a little harder to hold on to. So that was our second one. Third. Fourth. Five. And keep these nice and tight as you can. It gets a little fiddly, but you can do it. You can do it. 6. And we should have 2 stitches left. There they are. 7. Now at the end of this, you should have a hole in the top like this. Perfect, because that is where the pulley string and the little ball are going to go through. So what you're going to do is you can leave just a little bit of a tail. It doesn't have to be super long. Go ahead and pull it through. And now you're going to take a needle and weave around here and pull it closed a little bit. So go ahead and get a needle. You want one that's got a big enough of an eye for your yarn, but you don't want it to be too thick and long because this is kind of a small fiddly piece. And the way I like to do this, some people like to fasten off like with that little end knot. I think it makes it too clunky. I like to just pull the yarn through on that last stitch and then just work my way around. So we ended going clockwise like this. So here's the last stitch where I pulled through, and I'm going to keep going in the direction that you were crocheting in. See how it just like pulls that nicely into place. And I go into like that next stitch, and I just literally just go like this. I just kind of weave around in a circle through the stitches like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're really not gonna see it too much. I'm gonna get back around to the beginning where we started, and then just kind of give it a tug so it's snug, but you don't want to close the hole. You do want an opening because that's where the string has to go through. I'm just gonna go inside. I don't want it to be too bulky here. So I'm gonna go on the inside, flip it around, and now you can just weave in here. And you know, like people all have different ways of weaving in ends. I get really paranoid about things coming apart, so I like to really just go for it. Good Lord, this isn't the sharpest needle. Then I'm just gonna fasten off with a little knot by running through the yarn like that. Might make one more knot because I'm paranoid. And trim. Now we're gonna start working on the lips, and I'm gonna give my monster blue lips, which makes me think of when I was a kid and I used to go swimming and I would always be freezing and my lips would turn blue. We're gonna work around the lips like this. And I like to start with a little slip stitch, and then we're gonna attach this stitch to the corner of the mouth. And the way this works is we're gonna attach it and stitch around like that, and then you just roll it back, okay? So let's go, because we're going to work, you know, clockwise is how we stitch. Go ahead and attach in the corner of the mouth. And just like normal, you're gonna do a chain one and work into the first stitch. So I just find the corner hole and then pull through this little slip stitch. And then just try not to pull the knot all the way through. And then I kind of act like that's the slip stitch, and then I do a chain one. And then you can work into that same stitch as if that's the, like a join stitch. And then you can weave this in. And remember, those big lips are gonna be covering this. You're not gonna really see it too much. So, as anything in life, it does not have to be perfect. So we're gonna start out by just doing 15. And I'm gonna weave in that little end piece, and I am gonna mark my first stitch. Okay, we are gonna increase here. Let's have 32 in this row. Okay, so there's one, and we're gonna go across and do 15. Oops. 2. So you should be working on the bottom of the mouth right now, across here. All right, so I'm gonna meet you over here on the other end when you have 15. Pause. Okay, so I did 15 across. Let's just, oh wait. Doesn't look like I'm doing, wait, sorry. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. I actually did 16. Okay, so there's enough weirdness going on in these corner joins that we're gonna fit in 16 stitches to increase this to 32, because there were basically 15 and 15, but there's a lot of wide space in the corner, so we can fit an additional stitch there without doing a true increase in one stitch. I hope that makes sense. So I've already done 16 across here, and now I just need to do 16 from here to here. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're not really going to see these corners. It's going to be all covered up by the lips anyway. So don't stress if it doesn't look amazingly perfect, but just fit in 16 evenly across the bottom and across the top. So I just did 16. So let's just go ahead and put another one. You can put it here, you can put it here. These aren't true stitches here. They're kind of where it joined, if that makes sense. So if I put one here, let's see what happens. Where will I end up? So there's one. If I do one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, oh, 16. Yeah, see, there's plenty of room to fit 16 stitches in here. So there's one. So I'm going to go ahead to here. 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6. I love this color combo. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and right here we'll do the last one, 16. Perf. Okay, so we've done 32 total now for this round. So that was round 1 of the lips. 1. Let's go ahead and go on to round 2. And we're going to do the same way. You have that marked first stitch. Go ahead and slip into that. Chain 1. And now for round 2, you're going to single crochet 15 in a row, do an increase, single crochet 15, increase, and that will give you 34. So same thing in the join stitch. Start your 15 in a row. So here's 1, mark it, in a row, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, I don't think I got it right. I did 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And now in this corner, we're going to do an increase. So 2 into this stitch. 1, 2. And now do the same across the top, 15. You're going to get over here, and on that last stitch, you're going to do an increase. Okay, I'll meet you there. So I'm at my last 2 stitches. So here's 15 of the single crochet. And then in our very last stitch here, we're going to do an increase. So you'll place 2 single crochets. And that brings us to the end of round 2 of the lips. Now we're going to continue on to round 3. You're going to do very similar. You're going to do single crochet 15 across. Then you're going to do 2 increases in a row. So increase, increase, 15, increase, increase. That will leave you with 38. So I'll get you started as normal. Slip stitch into that first. Chain 1. Oh, I hear my dog. And then in that join stitch, start your 15 across. So go ahead and do your 15 across. After 15, you're going to do increase, increase, 15, then increase, increase, and you'll be at the end of round 3, which will give you 38 stitches. So I'll meet you when you come back around here. So we're back. I just went all the way around 15, increase, increase, 15. I just finished my 15 across here. And the last 2 stitches, we're going to increase. There's my dog. Hi, Ruby. Did you want to come hang out with me in here? You can. Hi, sweetheart. You guys, I know that a lot of people have dogs. Probably a lot of you have dogs. And I'm really sorry, but my dog is way cooler than your dog. She's the best dog on the fucking planet. Okay, 3. She really is an amazing dog. All right, so we just finished row 3. Your lips should look like this. Super sexy, super Mick Jagger, all right. And then I know at the beginning of the row, I did not mark my stitch marker, but I did add it in later. So slip stitch, chain 1. And now very similarly, that's my dog snapping her jaw. She likes to do that when she is excited or she wants attention. Hi, honey. Okay, I have to petting the dog break. Row 4, very similar. We're gonna do the same thing, single crochet 15 across. Then you're gonna do 4 sets of increase. Increase, 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 15, and 2, 3, 4 increase. And that will give you 46. Same thing, start in that join stitch, do 15 across, mark that first one. So 15 across, 4 increases, 15 across, 4 increases, meet you back here for the end of row 4. So I just finished my last row of 15 and I'm ending with the 4 increases in a row. So you should have 4 stitches left here for that, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna place 2 in each one of those for an increase in each of the last 4 stitches. So there's 1 increase, 2 increase, and then our last row of the lips, which is going to be, oh no, it's not the last row, hold on. Amy, you cannot talk and do this. Who do you think you are? All right, last stitch. Oh, here comes my dog again. All right, so you did 4 increases in a row, and you should look like this. Kind of looks like a fish mouth. That should have left you with 46 stitches. And now this next row, which is going to be row 5, yeah. You're just gonna do a single crochet all the way around. No increases or decreases yet. So slip stitch, chain 1, and then just do 46 stitches all the way around. So I just finished round 5, and I counted to make sure. I just did a whole round of single crochet, and that is 46 stitches. Now we're going to do one last row of the lips. That will be row 6, and we are going to decrease. So you know it. Slip stitch into that first stitch, chain 1, and do it regularly in your join stitch. I am going to mark this because I think it's a little confusing in the round like this to know where you're at. Go ahead and do 15. So that was 1, 2, 3. I'll meet you here after 15. Okay, so I just did 15 across here, and now you're going to decrease 4 times in a row. So you're going to decrease 4, and then you're going to do 15 and decrease 4, and then you're going to slip stitch into the first stitch and fasten it off. So for the decrease, you're going to do 4 of these. Remember from before, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through those 3 loops. There's your first decrease. You're going to do 4 of those in a row. So here's another one, 2, 3. Are you enjoying the sounds of the city? That's LA. 4. Okay, so you just decreased 4 in a row. Now you're going to do the same, 15 across, and then decrease in your last, it would be 8. The last 8 will turn into 4 stitches. And then I'll meet you here at the end of this row. All right, so we just finished row 6, and you should have 38 stitches. And that's the end of the lips, and I'll show you then what we do. So slip stitch into the previous stitch like before, and now you can, like a lot of people like to, they they slip stitch and then they fasten off with one like that. So you can do that. But you're gonna fasten off and weave in this end. So leave a little tail to weave it in, pull that through. And then the cute thing is what you're gonna do is you're just gonna roll the lips back like that. And they just kind of will stay in place. It's very, it's very cute. Those lips. Okay, so that's how the lips are. So, but you're gonna take this end and then you can just weave it. You don't wanna weave it in on the inside because that's technically gonna be the outside when you roll it out. So weave it underneath along here, okay? So go ahead and weave in this end, and then we are gonna make next all the different pieces. And now you're gonna make the little arms and legs. Cute, cute, cute. They're 4 of the same. I already made the first 3. They're really, really simple to make. So you can do whatever color you want. I matched the body color, but you can do a contrasting color. Could be cute too. Whatever you wanna do. So start with a slip stitch, a slip knot rather, and leave a little bit of a tail because you're going to need that to tie it onto the body. Go ahead and tighten that, and then go ahead and chain 8. Wait, let me get this on here tight. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8. And now you are going to do a half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, and there's chain 1, chain 2, second chain from the hook, half double. Then in the next chain, you're going to do a single, and that makes like the little, just a little blob for the foot or hand. And then the remaining 5 chains, you're going to slip stitch. So it'll be like a skinny arm. So there's 1, 2, 3. Gets a little fiddly here, but not too bad. 4, and then that last chain where you started, 5. Then I like to pull through, trim it, pull it through, and then just secure it. And there you go. And you're going to use these 2 ends to tie it into the body. That's cute. There's a little arm, hand, foot thing. So go ahead and make 4 of those, and then I'll show you how we are going to attach them. Okay, I already attached 1 arm and 1 leg. See how cute it is? And you're just going to use your hook to pull through where you want it. There's no rule for where this is, but once you have it in one side, you want to try to be symmetrical if that's the look you're going for. So I'm looking the row where I attached mine, and then I'm just going to go across, and it looks like I need to attach like right around here. So you're going to go around 1 stitch, and there is like a back and a front to these arms, but you do whatever look you like that with the line down the middle there. That's kind of the back, that's the back, and that's the front. So I'm going to attach it with the front facing like that. I'm just going to pull through, and then I'm going to go in underneath the stitch below, pull through that string, and then before you tie in a knot or anything, take a look, make sure you're happy with the placement. Looks good to me. Turn it inside out. Just find your 2 strings, and then just do a nice double or triple knot to secure it. Now, there are lots of different thoughts about how to do this. Some people are just like, they just do a double knot and they trim it off on their end of the day. I like to do 3, again, paranoid. And then I don't trim these ends until I have everything, the 4 limbs in place. You just, I hate it when you change your mind and then you already trimmed it and you're screwed and you have to make another one. So anyway, so So I leave these long ends until I'm really sure that I'm happy with the placement. And the same thing on the bottom. You can put these further out, you can put them further down, wherever is aesthetically pleasing to you. I just think it's good to try to match on either side. So I think I'm gonna go around like here, looks like. I think, yeah. And I'll run this through. And then for the other strand, sorry if I'm going out of screen here, go around here, pull that through, see if that looks right to me. That looks good. He's a little bow-legged, I like that. And then same thing, fasten these together with a double or triple knot. And then at this point, it's up to you how you want to finish it. I do a triple knot. I do the second and third knot really tightly. And then actually what I did for this little guy, just because I know this is going to get handled and moved around a lot, I actually took super glue and I just put a dot of super glue on the inside of each knot just to double secure it. You can't see it, it's totally clear, it's on the inside so you don't feel it. I think it's not a bad idea. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm happy with my placements here. I think it looks really cute. So I'm happy with that, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim these long ends. Make sure my knots are nice and tight. And then we will move on to making the eyes. Eyeball time. These I think are kind of the fiddliest part. Well, the ball is a little tricky too, but this is just a really small part, and you're just going to make a little circle in a magic ring or a magic circle of 6 single crochets. If you don't know how to make a magic circle, I'm going to show you here, but there are a million videos on YouTube from, I have one if you go to my channel, or just search magic circle crochet or magic ring. Magic ring and a magic circle are the same thing, don't be confused. Just depends what you want to call it. I'll show you how to do it here, but if you've never made one before, you might want to practice a little bit. But here we go. So I already made one eyeball. Your final product's gonna look like this. This is how I do it. There's a ton of different ways to do it. I just find this the easiest, and this is what I know. I hold the string with the end in my left hand, and then I loop it like that. So the string end is going to loop over the working end in your hand. Okay, one more time. The end here, working here, loop it around like that. Hold that in place so that tail's crossing over the left. Now you're going to take your hook and you're going to go inside of the circle and pull the working length through like that. And now this is where it's really easy to fall apart. You've got to just hold it together. Okay, ignore the tail. Take the working end now. Hold all this, and now you're going to chain 1 to secure it in place. This is where it gets a little slippery. Okay, so now you have something that looks like this. Okay, and from here, this is the magic circle. You can pull the tail now to tighten it up, make it a little smaller and manageable. We're just going to single crochet 6 into the center of this ring, and you're going to want to crochet around the tail, hold it with the circle like this. So the first stitch will go, you're going to go right into the center of the circle, yarn over, pull through, and that's stitch number 1. And if you're a beginner with a magic circle, I'd go ahead and mark it. Not because you can't find it, sometimes you can't, depending if your color is really dark or something like that, but because we are going to slip stitch into this at the end, and it can be really tricky to get your hook in there. So I like to mark it just so it's much easier to get your hook in there, because it gets really rolled up. So there was 1, you're gonna do 6 singles. 2, I like to hold it like this. And remember you're stitching over that tail end. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then you can take your tail and now just pull it, and it will tighten up into somewhat of a circle. And now this is when it's handy to have the stitch marker, because we're going to slip stitch into here now. So I just like to pull it, give a little space so you can see where it is. Go ahead and slip stitch. If you insert it, then you can pull everything tight. There it is, slip stitch. And then from here, here's the tail. Tighten the tail so you have a nice circle, and you will work your eyes into the center of here. So it doesn't have to be perfectly tight, but you don't want it to be all loose. And you want the sizes to match. Now, here's the other thing. There are different ways to finish this off, but what I like to do is do an invisible, what the hell, like finish, like, I don't know what the hell it's called. Do an invisible stitch or an invisible, whatever it's called. All right, so leave yourself a little space. You're gonna pull this through without fastening it off. Just pull through the stitch. Thread your needle. Oops, oh, come on. And totally destroy the yarn. That's be great. That's not part of the step. Lord almighty. Okay, I really messed that up. Let's try that again. I'm in it now, so gotta stick with it. Let's see if I can do this without completely fraying this piece of yarn anymore. It's like I can't do a too big of an eye because the piece is so small. Okay, good enough, good enough. Okay, so we were going this direction. So in that direction, you're going to go into not the next stitch, but the second stitch from where you ended. So here's the ending stitch, here's the next one and the next, and go under that from behind toward you. And oops, if you just pull it, it kind of just blends right into the stitches. I don't know if you can see that. And then from here, you can go down inside of the stitch behind it and just come out of the back. And see how it just blends in really nicely. And then at this point, what I'm going to do is just leave it. Once we work the eye pieces through and attach it to the face, then you can tie these through, tie them off like we do with the arms and legs, put on a little dot of super glue if you want. So I just leave those hanging for now until we attach them. Icky. Hey, I realized I was getting this crazy light situation from the window. Hopefully this is better. I turned on my light, I closed the shade. All right, now we're gonna do the eyeball attachment. So if you don't have these, they're called safety eyes, and you can get them at any craft store, any online crafting outlet that you like to purchase from. So we are going to secure this through the center of the white eyeball. So you have to just force it on through the middle, okay? And then you're gonna have these two strands left. You can either tie them off now in a knot and just secure, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Last time I ran them through the yarn and then I tied them in a knot. Let me see what it looks like if I tie it off like this. So there's just with one simple knot. I mean, I feel like either way it's gonna be a little bit, it'll show a little teeny tiny bit on the edge. I'm gonna do 2 knots and do that second one really tight. You know what, I am gonna run it through, I think, because I would be a little worried about the knot coming undone, just left plain like that. Anyway, okay, I'm a little bummed these aren't perfectly round, but whatever, we can't have everything, Amy. You can decide where you want these eyeballs to go. I set these kind of wide apart. I think I might put this one a little closer together. It might be cuter. Like that. I'm gonna go ahead and tie this one off. be right back. Now we're going to make the little ball, which is the stopper for the chain. This is the last kind of really fiddly piece you have to do. We're going to do another magic circle. So how I do it, tail on this end, make a loop with this end crossing over, hold it together, go through the center, pull up the working strand, hold that all together. Now take the working end here and make one chain to fasten it together. And just like before, you're going to do 6 single crochet into your magic circle. So 1, I'm going to go ahead and mark that just in case, because I don't feel like struggling, you know. Why struggle? You don't have to struggle. There's enough struggle in life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, of course, feel free to make these any colors that you want. 6, okay? Pull the tail to tighten it. And then you are going to join directly into that first stitch, which is why I marked it, because it's hard to find it later. And you're going to do an increase in each stitch for a total of 12, because you just did 6. You don't have to do the slip stitch chain one. You can just start working the single crochets, and you can also weave in this tail if you want, but you want to pull it tight. Okay, so here's 1, and go ahead and mark that. Confusing. If you lose count, it's hard to know where you started. 1. So you're going to also do second one into that stitch, same stitch, because you're increasing in each stitch. Sometimes it's hard to see where you did it. Just kind of pull up a little bit and then you can see where you went in with your hook. So there's 2 in that first stitch, 2 in the next. Ooh, just got dark in here. 1, 2. You can keep pulling that tail to tighten as you go. Next stitch, 2, 1, 2, 2 in the next, 1, 2. And before I get back around to the end, I like to just trim off this little tail. So pull it tight. You don't have to pull it like crazy tight, but you don't want there to be an opening. Just gonna give it a trim. Where are we at? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 4 more to do. So 2 and 2. 1, 2. The last stitch, 2 more, and you should have a total of 12 now after you finish these last 2, this final increase. All right, so now you have 12 around. Now we're going to do 6 sets of single crochet increase, single increase, single increase 6 times. And again, you don't have to do the slip stitch chain 1, just go right into that first stitch. So we're going to do 1. I like to mark it. Always makes me think of mark it with the B and put it in the oven for baby and me. Okay, 1 and then increase. And you'll do that set 6 times. Single crochet. So there's the increase. So you're going to do 1, increase, 1, increase, and you'll just do this all the way around until you get to that final stitch, and then at that point you should have 18. Increase, 1 increase. I'm gonna have 2 more. Sorry that light keeps changing in here. It's a weird time of the day, and I think there's something wrong with one of my light bulbs in this room. 1. All right, so here we are, the last 2 stitches, and then the final increase. And now in this next row, so you should have 18 now after finishing. This is round 3. Now going into round 4, you're just gonna do 18 single crochet. Same thing, just go straight into it, the one that you had marked. That's stitch 1. Mark it. Go all the way around, all the way around with single crochets to 18. Okay, so just did 18 all the way around. Now we're gonna do decrease. This is row 5. You're gonna do 6 sets of single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease. So go right into that next stitch, the first stitch, and do a single, and the next 2 stitches will be a decrease. So pull up 1, pull up 1, go through 3. Oh, and I forgot to mark my first one. Do it now. So you're going to do 6 sets of that, and see how it's starting to kind of curl up. You want to, this is the part facing you is the correct side, the right side. You're going to eventually curl up like that into a ball, and it will look like this. A ball. Oops, tangled up here. So again, you're going to do 6 sets of, whoa, wrong stitch, of 1 single, 1 decrease. And I know this is like kind of tight and fiddly, but you don't want it to be too loose. Okay, so go ahead and do that all the way around. 1 decrease, 1 decrease. Okay, just did that row number 5 of single decrease 6 times. So you should have turned it up like this with the right side on the outside. It's starting to look like a cup. Now this is your last row, row 6. You're gonna do decreases all the way around, so it'll be 6 decreases. So decrease, 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 blah, blah. Because right now you should have 12, so you should be able to half that, decrease it into 6. So there's your first stitch. I'll do this row with you because I know it gets a little crazy with how crowded it can get. Okay, so decrease, there's 1. I'm gonna mark it just so I know when I come back around where I am. So there's 1. This gets a little hard to hold, but you can do it. Even if you have giant hands, I believe in you. I have tiny hands, so it's even hard for me sometimes. So there's 2. Oh gosh. 3. 4. Ooh, it's getting crowded. I think this is probably the hardest part of the whole project. 5, we're almost there. 5, and last 2 stitches, 6. Yay, hallelujah, we did it. And now you will slip stitch into the first that you marked. Okay, and then you can leave a little tail to fasten it off. And then we're going to need a little piece of fiber fill. So at this point you can just leave this because this is where our little button, remember, is going to come into play. We're going to make a chain, sew it onto tie it onto the button. Then we're going to insert it in here with a little bit of fiber fill, and then we'll tighten this around. So leave a little tail so you can sew around. All right, I'll be right back with my fiber fill. So you can make your little pulley chain any color you want. I made it white on this one. I think I'm gonna make it orange to match the body, and the ball on top will be blue like that. I think that would be cute. So easy, you're just gonna make a chain right now and leave, so go ahead and do your slip knot. Leave a little bit of a tail because you're gonna tie that into the button, okay? And go ahead and chain. It just depends on how loosely you chain it. You don't want to chain too loose though, but chain like between 45 and 50. And before you finish it off, just get a general idea of how long you want it to be, because it really depends on how big your key fob is too. But I think I made 47 or 48 for this one because I felt like 45 was a little short, but I also am a really tight stitcher. So anyway, go ahead and make between like 45 to 50 stitches. Okay, I'll see you back here when you're done with that. Okay, I did 45. Just gonna get an idea of how long this would be. So it's gonna run from here to here. Yeah, I think that looks about right, because it's gonna come out of the top hole of the head, the hole that you left there with the ball on top. Oh God, am I even showing this? So it's gonna run from the top of the hole in the head out of the mouth through here. So you want it to be about approximately as long as the body or a little more to accommodate the key. Okay, so I did 48. You do what you think works for you. Then at that point, when you have it as long as you want, go ahead and fasten it off. So pull through, leave a little bit of a tail because you're going to connect it to the button. Pull it through like that. Now you need your button. Button. Who's got the button? Who's old like me and knows what I'm talking about? That would be a Monkeys reference. Old. Now you are going to try not to struggle too much and put this through the buttonholes. Hopefully your buttonholes aren't too tiny. I'm gonna have to wet this a little bit. If you have a needle that's thin enough to poke it through, you can, but then you have to get the yarn through a skinny needle. So I think it's not any easier to just do that than to just poke it through the hole. Okay, so run it through and then run the other end through. Oh, look at that. The opposite. And you'll have that situation. Again, you can measure. Yeah, that looks great. Okay. And now you're just going to tie this off. Nice and tight. You can do 2, 3 knots, whatever you feel good about. Another opportunity for you to use a little super glue if you want. Just trim it. And now you're going to stick your fiber fill. You really need only like a tiny little bit. Oh, look at that blob. You're gonna put your fiber fill inside of here. You can use the end of a pencil or whatever works for you. Just jam it in there. Jam it. You don't need to have it like super full, but you just want it so that it hold the shape. And then you're gonna take your button, put it inside, and you can kind of work the fiber fill around it. The button is just there to secure it. So now in the direction clockwise that you were stitching in, you're just gonna wanna go around the stitches. Ooh. Go around each stitch like this to tighten it up. As you go around, you'll feel it cinching up like that. And if you want, you even can kind of like sew across here, which I am going to do that, like sew under the center to fasten it off, to kind of weave it in and fasten it off to really secure it in place. And then I'm gonna go through I'm gonna make a little knot like this. I don't even know if you're seeing this, but I'm gonna go through where I just stitched, make a little knot. And I'm gonna finish it by just going through the ball a couple times, just hiding the stitch, just coming out the other end. Oh, maybe not. Well, that's probably good enough. Trim it. And there you have, you can kind of get rid of this extraneous fuzz. Shape it a little bit. And there you have your pulley. You can feed it through the top of his head. Look at that. Okay. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. And there, you're basically done now. Now, if you want, you can add a little antenna. You can string hair through here. I might make some hair for this guy, but I also might just leave him like this. I think it's super, super cute. But that's basically it. That's basically it. You did it. You made a little monster. I'll be right back. I'll show you how to put the key on. It's so cute. I love it. Okay, now if you do want to make antenna or pigtails or whatever you want to call these, really easy. I'm not going to demo it on here just because I don't want to make the world's longest video. But the way I made these is take the yarn of your color, the same yarn that you've been using, and cut 9 strands of about 7.5 inches each. Okay, you're gonna cut 7 equal strands. I'm sorry, why do I keep saying that? Because it's 7 inches. Cut 9 strands of approximately 7.5 inches each, same length, and that will be 1. And then do it again, 9 strands, 7.5 inches each, and then just like you did when you were attaching the arms and legs, go inside and pull the strands evenly around one of the stitches and place it wherever you want on the head. You can put it more up and down, you can put it more on the sides. Just run it around the stitch until you have it out equally like this. Then you're gonna do a simple 3-piece braid. So if you have 9 strands and then you fold it in half, running it through the stitch, you're gonna have, what, 18. So you're gonna do like a strand of 6, 6, and 6 and do a 3-piece braid. And then that's when you use your embroidery floss. Take your matching or whatever color you want embroidery floss, and then I just wrapped it around here several times, tied it in a really tight knot, and then again I used super glue to make sure it was nice and secure, and then I trimmed off the ends. So that's how I made these pigtails. I think for this guy, maybe I'll make a little hair would be funny. Like a little mullet. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But you can, this is how you can customize. You can do something really fun up here, or you don't have to do anything at all. I think he's really cute just like that too. And here's how you attach the key. So here's your fabulous key fob. Just run that chain through and then put it around the key, pull on it, and then you can tuck your key inside, and then voila, now you have this cute little thing, and you can hang this from your bag or just have it in your bag however you want to use it. But that's it. That's your little key monster. Thanks for watching my video. Have a great day. The written instructions are on my Etsy shop. Lobster Knits is the name of my Etsy shop, so check it out, please. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.